Romania explained. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah.
Ambassador of Latin
I don't know how to explain it, so maybe this guy can.
countries in the East, cherished but adopted members of the Slavs, and influenced by 3 distinct empires in the past. Romania is one of the most specific countries in the world. It's known to everyone mostly due to a faint mixture of legend and reality.
Vampires.
Yet Romania is both overlooked
Can you
and
explain Romania? It's a country that exists. Ignore the burp.
underestimated as a destination to explore. However, our video will make you visit there as fast as gigabytes flow through the country or gigabats fly over it.
Oh, so this is a glaze video. Okay, Romania glaze video. Let's go.
Romania, as it's called by its citizens,
Close. Close. It's Romania, not Romania. But you were pretty close with that. Actually, pretty close.
is the 12th largest country in Europe with 238,391 kilometers squared, putting it between UK and Belarus on the list. And if we look globally, it is
It's crazy
81st.
because it's like bigger than the UK, but the population is like not even a tenth.
Sandwiched by Ghana and Laos. Yet, where it matters more, on the map, Romania is neighbored by Bulgaria to the south, then Serbia, Hungary, Ukraine and their younger sibling Moldova. All these borders came to a total of 3,195 kilometers, with the longest one being with Moldova at 681
Yeah,
kilometers.
that little parasite.
Romania
That little
also has a
parasite.
coastline of
We'll take it
245
back one day,
kilometers
Chad.
with important Black
One
Sea
day.
to the east. When it comes to the population, Romania is ninth in Europe with 19,237,000 people, putting it above the so densely populated Netherlands. Although there is quite a big drop-off between 8th placed Poland
That's too
and their
many
somewhat
Romanians.
opposites we're visiting now.
That's too many
Measured with all
Romanians.
countries
I
of the
didn't know there
world,
were that many Romanians. That's too many.
Romanians count to the 62nd spot to find their numbers below Kazakhstan and above Malawi. Down south sits the capital of Romania, which is called Bucharest. This is by far the most populated city with a bit of over 2 million people. Then we have a few major cities that all have about the same population of just over 300,000 people. There's Timișoara in the west, the central position.
Okay, that was not even close. Okay, that was not even close. It's not Timișoara, it's Timișoara.
And Cluj-Napoca and Iași
That was
in
good.
the northeast. And then, of
Wait,
course,
how do you say Yash?
the central position Cluj-Napoca and Iași in the northeast.
Oh, that
And
was
then,
good.
Of course, Constanta, which sits right
Constanza. It needs to have the T's have a little thing underneath, which makes it a T instead of a T.
next to the Black Sea. Romania absolutely dominates the surroundings in terms of population, as it has around 2 times or way more citizens
like
than
that
all
he's
of the
trying.
countries to its nearby south and west, plus Moldova. And a similar ratio applies to the territory. The only neighbor slapping them on the fingers here is Ukraine, which does to Romania what they do to their neighbors, dwarfing them in terms of population and landmass. And just earlier I mentioned Poland being the opposite of Romania, and what I mean by that is that Poland is a Slavic Catholic country, while Romania is a Latin yet Orthodox country. That's right. Despite what most people think,
That's the thing,
most
Romania is not Catholic. Catholic churches are rare in Romania. I feel like a lot of people think it's Catholic because it's like, oh, they're thinking Rome.
people who don't subscribe to Countries Explained, Romania is usually classified as a Slavic country by default, while it's not. So if you don't want to make a fool out of yourself in the future, you better hit that subscribe button below, so we can teach you all about the countries of the world. The Romanian language also falls into the category of Romance languages, alongside Portuguese,
Yeah,
Spanish,
very romantic,
Italian
chat.
and French. There's also the Romanian language. And I'm pretty sure you wouldn't think these languages descend
I'll
from
teach you
the
the
same
most
family.
romantic phrase ever, chat. Suj pula. Say that to a girl, she's gonna be at your knees.
Now, would you? But I guess if we took a closer look at the name of the country, we can see that the clue was kind of in front
Yeah,
of
it is sadly related to French. Sadly, it is.
us all along. Although being the island that it is in the Slavic Sea of countries did have its effects. And for instance, the Romanian word for yes is the same one that the Russians,
Yeah,
Serbs,
it's da.
Bulgarians and others use, which is da. But it's even harder to define Romania in much more tangible matters than language, like geographical placement. as it finds itself at the end of Central Europe, the edge of the Balkan Peninsula, and not quite in the far east of Europe. From these three directions
What can I
came the
say,
empires
Chad?
that
Romania
marked
is
the
kind of the main character of Europe. We're kind of like the misunderstood protagonist that doesn't really fit into any clique, you know? It's just it's just kind of the main character. Yeah.
Romanian culture and influenced the crafting of such a unique blend. The Austro-Hungarians, the Ottomans and the Russians. And even now, the country's status is a bit hard to detail, as it finds itself in the European Union, but not in the Schengen zone of passport-free movement. The euro, which we know, isn't the official currency of the country even though it joined the organization in 2007. The Romanian leu still changes hands, and if we were to exchange this currency for the euro, we get about 0.2 euros for 1 leu. 1 leu, on the other hand, consists of 100...
Okay, I'm sorry. I disassociated. Did you say Lou? No, don't say it's French. No, come on. You tried so hard with the other thing. No, it's not Lou. It's not. It's Leu. It's Leu. It's not even close to Lou. It's not French Lou. It's Leu. Leu, chat. Leu. It means lion.
Funny. It's proving hard for the Romanians to tear away from their lions, which is the meaning of leu.
Yeah, literally, but it's not Lou, it's Leu.
Although the banknotes being made of plastic might have something to do with it.
Yeah, it's good because they don't break.
Zoomed in within its spacious borders, Romania is easier to describe. Dominated by the Carpathian mountain range, the third longest in Europe with a stretch of 1,500 kilometers, which kind of splits the land in
These
half.
mountains killed me in geography because you had to learn like the name of each part of it and their peaks. It was actual pain.
In this huge mountain range, we also find the highest point in the country, the Moldovani Peak, sitting 2,544
Literally.
meters above sea level. The Apusini,
peaks.
meaning west, mountains put the finishing dot on this mountain chain. A temperate continental climate rules the land, with summer temperatures peaking at around 30 degrees Celsius. The country also has a
Damn,
nice
this is a
mix of
whole school
landscapes with the
lesson.
already mentioned mountains.
We're
but
even
also
learning the
fertile
climate, that's crazy. What are the names of each peak? Stop. Actually, stop. I have a gun.
green fields in the south and a mixture of hills, grassland and swamps in the east. But arguably the second most defining geographical feature of Romania, after the Carpathian Mountains, is Europe's second longest river, the Danube. About 40% or 1,075 kilometers of this mighty river flows
We genuinely can't stop yapping about this river. I'm gonna be honest, you know, it's like Romanians just love this thing.
through or adjacent to Romanian territory. And Romania's landscape has a huge part in contributing to this river, as 98% of Romania's rivers spring from the Carpathian Mountains. And all of them, directly or indirectly, end up being tributes to the Danube. But something maybe even more remarkable than the river itself, or at least very impressive, is
Oh my
the
god,
gondola.
yes, this is one of the really cool things we have. You know, this is a cool thing that we have. Yeah. Is that Pipi? No, it's Techamal. He's like a Dacic ruler. You know. Welcome. I think both faces are really cool. And ironically, Mount Rushmore, I think it's kind of metal. Yeah, we got a river too, Pipi. I know, it's a very long river, but we have the most of it. From what I know, we have the most of it in our country. So, that's why we brag about it. Yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hi, Moraxi, welcome. Yeah, we're just watching videos. I'm Romanian, so we're watching Romania Explained. Yeah, alright. Let's get back.
Like statue the Romanians have carved onto the stone of the riverbank to honor the last king of Dacia. No, not the car company.
It's Dacia. I mean, he's trying. But again, Romania has very few pronunciation rules. But yeah, it's like 4, but like, you gotta know them.
But Deceval, the last king of Dacia.
Again, one of them is when C and E or I is next to each other. You don't go Dece or Deke. You go Che. So it's Decebal.
The Roman emperors to preserve the independence of his country. And it is safe to say that this river has had great meaning to Romania over the years, serving as a natural border almost entirely towards Bulgaria, considerably with Serbia, and the tiniest bit with Moldova, and then with Ukraine. Romania has gained more from the Danube than even John Strauss. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about right now, Strauss wrote one of his most famous waltzes inspired by the Danube in his piece The Blue Danube. But even these days, the Danube plays a vital role for Romania, especially due to the Constanta port, the largest one on the Black Sea, serving as a gateway between the east and the west. From here, about 74% of Romania's exports go up the stream to the EU countries. And speaking about exports, Romania's economy is helped a lot by being the fourth largest producer of oil in the European Union.
Damn, I didn't know we got oil like that. That's crazy. I really didn't know. I didn't know we had oil like that.
Largest natural gas producer. The economy is
God,
also
y'all
driven by
should
the car
stop
manufacturing.
insulting Romania. Like, damn, I didn't know we had it on like that. I thought we were kind of lame, not gonna lie.
Dacia, which is the country's biggest company in terms of revenue and accounted for 8% of the country's total exports. It's now owned by Renault, and the company's only factory is located in the small town of Mioveni, in the Argeș county, which is one of 41 administrative units in Romania. Yet, historically, the country is divided into three main territories. First, there's Wallachia in the fertile south.
No, back down, you say, back down, Americans. Okay, we don't want you here, we don't want you, okay, calm down, back down. That's crazy. Very cheap and good car, yeah, it's peak, it's Dacia.
In the northwest, we have Transylvania.
Your peak car is owned by the French, it got bought out, okay, shut up, it got bought out.
Been waiting for this, haven't you? Well, keep waiting, I'm covering the myths in just a bit. And then finally we have Moldavia in the northeast. And no, we didn't forcefully unite the two siblings. You see, the country is called Moldova in English and the region Moldavia. These parts were quite populated in the 1st century BC when the kingdom of Dacia
I'm pretty
united.
sure they're called the same in Romanian. This and this is called the same. Like they're both Moldova. Which is why it's very confusing when you learn geography, because you're like, oh, so Moldova is a part of a country, but it's also a different country. What?
And which the earlier mentioned King
Some people call it
Decebal resisted the
Basarabia,
Romans in the 1st century AD. Yet the empire couldn't be denied, and in the 2nd century founded the province of Roma Dacia across Transylvania. This
I want a
combination
rat.
of Roman and Dacian cultures marks the beginning of the Romanians' ethnogenesis. After all, the country is named after the local name for Roman or Rome, hence the Latin connection. Even though the majority of today's country wasn't under Roman rule for long, the area became the staging route for tribes of Goths, Gepids, Avars, Slavs and Huns coming in to loot, pillage, rule and migrate. Since the late 9th century, Magyars, which is the Hungarians, entered the phrase and stayed in it well until today. Saxon and settlers are settled by the King of Hungary in the 12th century,
I don't like
with
those.
the latter still relevant, live and kicking, even though you most likely haven't heard of them. In the 13th century, the mentioned territories of Wallachia, Moldavia and Transylvania are established, with the latter being subjugated under Magyar rule, briefly uniting freely under Michael the Brave at the start of the 7th century. Yet his fame is in the dark shadows of a far more globally known figure, Vlad III of Wallachia, Vlad the Impaler. A ruler so ruthless, he served as an inspiration for the mythical figure of Dracula, with his father's title, Dracul, meaning dragon, played a role.
It doesn't mean dragon, it means devil. Come on, man! You can do a little bit of research. You can do a tiny bit of research. I mean, obviously he did, but like, you know, it's the small details that like, I'm like, come on, man. Like, Drac is how you call a demon, a devil. It's a Drac. And then he's Dracul, which is just articulated, so I mean, the devil. Yeah.
He was from Wallachia, Transylvania is eternally connected to the vampire
not
lore.
Dragons.
But Romania too
But
as a whole has
bring
this
dragons
aura
into
over it.
Romania.
Although Romanians shouldn't really fret at all. Sure, there are these
We would have
stories,
killed them all if there was dragons.
Stories, you tell me. But they also do have a much nicer tradition for the afterlife, like the Mary Cemetery. The famous place is known for these brightly colored tombstones. And also because they do, and I'm not lying now, have a tax for black magic. So, Romania is not the place to live if you're a witch.
Black magic tax! That's crazy! Oh, chat, I'm telling you, my hatred for magic is heritage. We have a black magic tax. Oh god, thank you for the prime!
Moving back to completely real history, the Ottoman, Habsburg and Russian empires started fighting and ruling over parts of Romania through the Middle Ages.
Boo.
All until Alexandru Luan Cuza is proclaimed
Alexander
Prince
Ioan
of both
Cuza.
Moldavia and Wallachia, which unite as Romania in 1862. Rejoined by the more famed Transylvania after World War I and fought on the sides of the Allies. In World War II, Romania first joined the Axis side.
We don't talk about that. We don't talk about Romania at the beginning of World War II, okay? We don't talk about that. We don't talk about that. We were just confused. We were just slightly confused.
The Soviets were winning in 1944. Nicolae Ceausescu became the leader
the
and the
goat.
infamous dictator
The
of
goat.
the new socialist country of the Warsaw Pact, leaving behind a rare impressive legacy of the placement of the parliament, the heaviest building in the world, before his demise in 1989 and the revolution. Another, perhaps more positive thing if you're into sports, came with the socialist...
You see, it was only 2 measly years. Okay, dude, only 2 tiny measly years. Okay, come on.
years when the football club Steaua became the first Eastern European
oh my
club
god, it's
ever
Fetchisebe now, bro. It's not even called Steaua anymore. It's called Fetchisebe. I remember the devastating change. Everyone was so sad.
to win the Champions Cup title. Continuing on the sports side of things, the country has had a big legacy in gymnastics with Nadia Comaneci as the big front figure. She won a total of 9 Olympic medals, more than any other Romanian female. Today, however, the tennis player Simona Halep is perhaps the country's biggest sports
My dad
star,
would make me watch all of her games. I watched tennis with my dad just because of her.
with a couple of Grand Slams titles under her belt. In entertainment, it's the Marvel star Bucky Barnes or the Winter
Oh
Soldier
yeah,
played
and
by
also Winter Soldier is Romanian, chat. Yeah, do you know this? Winter Soldier, Romanian.
Sebastian Stan, who might be the biggest star the country has right now. Well, him and of course the electronic music hitmaker Ina.
And there's even a scene in the Captain America movie in Romania that probably is because of him.
It is safe to say
And
that
he's asking for plums in it. And it caught me so off guard when I was watching the movie because I was like, oh my god, I can understand this.
Romania is very interesting, and that a video of a couple of minutes or a weekly tour would not do it justice. Luckily, moving to this unique place might be a great option, because underneath the castles run the third fastest internet network in Europe, and it has been for the longest time the leader of speed on the old continent. But if fast internet, interesting history and fascinating myths isn't enough, here's another reason for settling down permanently in Romania. They actually lead the home ownership rate globally, so renting battles aren't as fierce here. So from gigabytes to gigabats, hopefully you learn something about Romania, even though
I will tell you this. Living prices, like in terms of rent, it is cheaper than the rest of the world. But the price of food and everything has gone up so much in the past 5 to 10 years. It's actually almost unsustainable on like on the salary that you get there as like obviously like a part-time job and stuff like that, like a, you know. Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, hope you got interested, chat. That was Romania explained. Yeah, you know, nice to see a video that's more like a glazed piece. Obviously, we've watched a lot of videos, so you guys already know the many negatives of it as well. But you know, it's nice to see the positives sometimes. Yeah. Yeah.